Hi friends, welcome to Law Chat 101 with your legal BFF, Girija Patel. I'm here today to talk to you all about AI. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about the legal consequences of using AI and why there are even legal consequences. So AI is used in almost every single industry, if not every single industry. It's been around for a very long time. And because of AI and because of other things that are happening with regards to personal information being, shared or sold, there's a lot of privacy issues that have come up and a lot of laws that have happened because of those privacy issues. And so today's conversation is going to be talking about some of the legal consequences that we need to be aware of and be responsible and accountable when we are using AI in our business. Number one, like I was saying earlier about the data protection, it's very important. It's very important because not only if you're using AI in your business, but there's a lot of capturing of data that is very personal in nature. So whether your app or your business is scanning someone's face or facial recognition, eye recognition, thumb, whatever it's doing, fingerprint, we need to make sure that that data is being protected and is not being breached by any third parties. And we're also not uselessly selling it off just to make money so that that party or the other party that is purchasing it from you is using it for wrong reasons also. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to be held accountable for third party faults or, illegal activities. And even though you might have a contract between them, things can still happen, and sometimes that accountability and responsibility that courts find may override a contract even. So it's really important to make sure that you are doing what you can do to safeguard all the data that you are collecting on your website through AI. Number two is intellectual property. Intellectual property is everything. And so when we're creating stuff from AI, we have to also know the ramifications with intellectual property. Now, if it's a trademark, at the end of the day, trademark is not based on essentially if it's a original work of authorship, just like copyright would be, but it's really based on if it's a distinguishing factor and it's original and it's not copying somebody else's trademark or mark that identifies that brand. So the threshold and the test is a bit different than copyright, because copyright is original works of authorship that has been put into a tangible medium. And by law and the Copyright Office at this very moment in time, that basically means an original work of authorship that's created by a human, not by AI, not by a robot, not by a machine necessarily. And there are, of course, avenues or caveats to a product that is created, and it may be part and parcel created through AI. And if you can identify that, then you can absolutely protect the parts that you created that is an original work of authorship via the Copyright Office, but maybe not perhaps something that's created by AI. And then with regards to trademark and marks, if it's something that's generated by AI, we already use a lot of AI tools that are out there, or, tools that are not necessarily AI, but there's still something that's machine generated. And it is absolutely being used, and people, use Photoshop, they use Adobe, they use other software and tools out there that can actually then be taken, create a logo or create some type of a style of writing for your name or something like that. And then that can be protected by trademark. So with that though, you just have to make sure that you actually own the mark, because if you don't own the mark or don't have rights to the mark, then you also cannot claim rights to it with regards to trademark. So that's always something that you have to be making sure that your third party that you're generating the mark from, whether it is an actual designer or whether it's a tool, gives you that right, not a license, but an actual assignment, a right to take it to the trademarks office and say, this is mine, boom, give me the trademark on this. Number three thing that you need to be aware of is who takes the liability and accountability of something that happens via a app that is used by AI. So sometimes you might be using in your business an AI tool or software. So it's not something that's actually used on your platform per se, or something that you have taken and posted into your platform like Canva does, but it's some other tool that you're using to facilitate the services or even the back end part of your business. And what if they make a mistake? What if it's an egregious mistake? What if it's a mistake that you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't just believe that happened, and why did it happen with me? Who takes the accountability, and to where does that accountability go to? So it kind of goes back to the earlier part that I was talking about with regards to privacy, that there are going to be moments where another, AI tool is doing something and it's part of their makeup. It's part of the way it was designed. And so the idea is that who takes responsibility? Is it the designer? Is it the company selling it? Is it you? Have they just said, hey, we're not going to be responsible for anything? And so this is where you need to be really cautious and you need to read the terms and conditions of any AI software that you are using. So whether that is a platform that everybody is using or whether it's something that is pretty unique to your industry, you need to read the terms and conditions, because that terms and conditions can be golden. It's also going to be the defining factor of what you own, what is shared, and so therefore it's not owned by you anymore, or you're giving a license to share it even though you don't want to share it, and so it becomes really muddy and you don't know what's happening. At the end of the day, also, who's taking responsibility for something that happens? And should you have known, or could you have known, or is this something that you just would have never known? Number 4 is something that we may not think about, and something definitely I did not necessarily think about right away, but reading more articles and learning more about what AI is and how it's designed, you just don't know, right? Who the people are that are designing that AI software or that tool that you're using. And what is in their mind when they're generating the AI tool and they're giving the rules to that AI or the algorithms that the AI is using. Is it based on bias and discrimination, or is it based on something else? And so I would do more research on whatever tool you're using. I would also read some of the feedback, that if there is feedback out there, or reviews, and maybe ask the industry if it's a very industry specific AI tool. Ask around and see what the conversations are about, because I know with ChatGPT a lot of things have come out, and not necessarily with bias and discrimination, but other things that nobody knew about, like for example hallucinations, which is going to take me to number 5, because hallucinations is huge. It is the wrong information being given to you, and it's information that is actually like imaginary, that doesn't exist, and it's happening with ChatGPT, and it's probably happening with a lot of other AI tools out there as well. So it's really important to actually test it out. But more than that, it's also really important to go in and test the efficacy of the information that's being shared with you. Like any other research project that we have worked on, or any other report that we have worked on, it's important to always double check the facts and double check all the sources, because at the end of the day, the sources can make you or break you, and the ultimate thing that you are creating, or whether it's for a client or whether you're just putting information out there, you don't want to lose your credibility because you did not double check the facts and you just fell into the trap of the AI hallucinations. Number 6, what we have to be careful about is the compliance, the industry regulations and compliance. So this is big. Like if AI is not being compliant with some things that are in healthcare, like HIPAA or something else, or by using it, you are now breaching some type of compliance that you're supposed to be doing in your business or in your industry, then you can be in big risk and a risk exposure as well with using that AI product. So whatever tools, whether it's AI or not, you always have to make sure that you are in compliance with whatever governing body that you have for your industry or for the kind of business that you are doing and the services that you're providing. So like anything else that you might be double checking, AI also should fall under that umbrella. And so there's no exception to those rules except for the fact that you do your due diligence. Last but not least, I want to talk to you about transparency. It is extremely important to be transparent that you are using AI in your business, whether you are providing services or whether it's being used in a way where it could impact your clients or the products that you're putting out, whether that impact is directly to them or whether that impact is directed to their ownership of the product that you're creating, or how they're using it could impact, any type of illegal things that they might be getting into, whether that is data breach or privacy breach, or whether that is, ownership of intellectual property. It's important to disclose that you are using AI in that way. And why? Because your client may not want you to be using AI. If they've hired you to create, for example, social media content, and they want it to be original so that certain things could be actually taken, you've assigned them the right and they've taken it, and now they're going to go and do some type of copyright registration for it. At that time, they need to know whether this is AI generated or not, and how much of it, if it is, because it could be a make or break for them. So for example, like so extreme, but if you're a ghostwriter for somebody and you're just like, okay, ChatGPT, please write it the way I would write it. Here's my example of how I write, and then it pours out something for you. You know, if you just take that, even if you make minor edits here and there, but if you copy paste it and give it as this is the book, the person that you're writing the book for or the person that you're writing anything for is done, because they don't know that you're using AI. They also believe that you're doing it as an original work. And so it could cause a lot of friction for you, for them, and the consequences that they might have to deal with, but then also your credibility at the end of the day. So it could be a domino effect. And so at the end of the day, if you had to walk away with anything, it would be this, that always trust your gut. You need the human touch in everything that you're doing with regards to AI. So please go back and double check everything and make sure there's efficacy. Transparency is huge, and you have to make sure that when you're using AI, we're using it responsibly. So if you're doing it a certain way that you know that if you were that person receiving that work or that product or the service, or even if it's somebody that is, you know, in the back end using it in such a way where it would impact your clients and, you know, your community in general, and you're like, you know, I would want someone to be transparent about that, then please go ahead and do it, because that's a great signal and an open door for you to go and follow some responsible regulations for AI. Now, of course, it is still a very fluid space. A lot of things are changing. You know, there's like different versions that have already come out, like different iterations, and ChatGPT is not the only tool out there. There's many other tools out there. So it's your responsibility as a business owner to use it in a way that, of course, it helps you, it makes your systems better, but at the end of the day, it's not opening up a lot of liability and risk exposure for you or for the people that you are serving. And if this was interesting to you, again, like, save, share, leave a comment, tell me what you're thinking. I want to know what's on your mind. And more than that, make sure you sign up for something that's coming up. It's going to be in August, and it's going to be a AI Legal 101 with you and me in the room. And we're going to talk all about AI, how to use it in your business, how to be intentional about it, and how to be using it in a way that's responsible, effective, but yet you are also, you know, not opening yourself up for risk, because there's a lot of exposure out there with AI. And I want you to be able to use it to position yourself for success rather than positioning yourself for a meltdown. With that being said, I will see you next week and wishing you luck, and I'll see you then.